Hello everybody, welcome back. Stop the riots, I'm back. I'm going to do another Kerbal Space Program tutorial, but I promise this one's going to be shorter and a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, but I'm going to still try and give some knowledge on some of the more novice players. See, I have to launch this guy, and I'm going to send him up into, I'm going to hook him up on my space station up here in orbit around Kerbin, and I wanted to take this opportunity to show you guys some staging stuff, some fuel stuff, and then at the end of it, you guys get to see a launch, which sounds great, right? Okay, so I already have something loaded up. I call it the heavy lifter. It should be able to get this whole thing into orbit without much problem. Oh, hold on. I don't need that guy because I already have one right there. Okay, so this is the heavy lifter. This is what's going to be taking our guy into orbit, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about staging and fuel consumption, stuff like that, just so you guys can get into orbit a little bit easier if you've been having problems with it, all right? So there's a couple things we need to cover real quick, real short, okay? Whenever you hit the stage, it activates these engines, right? And then you see a green fuel bar down at the bottom, your engine fuel indicator, right? The maximum value on that is the amount of fuel feeding any engine, right? So each engine represents its own gauge, or each engine has its own gauge, and the maximum value on the gauge is the capacity of the tanks, right? Both of these tanks are feeding this engine down here, or these pair of engines, so their gauge is going to be sized based on this, right? Okay, so let's take a step back. Notice these little yellow guys right here. These are fuel ducts, sorry. These are fuel ducts. They're one directional, you can see the arrows on them. What that does is that essentially puts a priority on the engine to burn fuel from this engine's fuel tank, because the arrows are pointing the arrows are pointing this way, so the fuel is going to go this way, right? So the benefit to that is that we can concentrate where on the ship the fuel is going to be burned, and thus whenever enough fuel runs out to equal these tanks being empty, we could ditch them, right? That's where we go to staging, right? That's the one of the conventional ways is called asparagus staging, right? You can see it. I have it set up right here. What happens is this tank has a fuel line that goes to this tank, which has a fuel line that goes to this tank, which has a fuel line that goes to this tank in here, right? That's the same thing on the other side. So what's going to happen is this tank and the tank opposite it are on the top priority for all the engines to burn. All of the engines down here are going to burn from these two tanks, right? And so what's going to happen is when these two are empty, I'm going to jettison them. They're going to be shot off, and then I won't have to haul two empty tanks and two engines into space. And that's the asparagus staging. The other one is called onion staging. I actually haven't used it much just because I just like asparagus staging better. It's more aesthetically pleasing to me. I imagine you could use onion staging on heavier bigger launchers, like way large launchers. And what that is essentially all of these tanks outside are all feeding the tank on the inside, and then all of these tanks would get dropped at once, and this tank would still have a full tank, right? So there we go. That's the short little rundown. Here we're gonna go. We're gonna do a launch real quick. Let me lower this down. Hopefully this all works on the first try and I don't have to redo this, because I don't want to have to edit crap and all that. That just makes it so much more of a pain in the butt. So here we go. After the launch, I'm going to go through a little bit of the launch procedure, but after the launch, I'm going to post another video on docking, and if you're not familiar with Kerbal Space Program, it's probably going to be kind of boring. I mean, I don't want to shoot myself in the foot there, but if you're not like familiar with it, it might not be that interesting to you. But afterwards, I'll probably dork around a little bit on the Binding of Isaac based on how everybody feels, all right? Oh, and before I start, this SAS right down here, this means that the pilot, or in this case, this little probe body way up here, hidden away, is going to try and keep the launch aircraft straight unless I tell it otherwise. And this is going to be a volume warning. I don't know exactly how loud this is going to be on your speakers, so you might want to turn it down. If not, you might want to have your hand on this thing just in case, just to turn it down if it starts blasting in the ears. Okay, that being said, 3, 2, 1, ready, go. You know what, that is a little loud. Hold on. I'm going to drop it down just a little. Hopefully that's enough for me to talk over it. Nope. Nope, not enough for me to talk over it. Okay, we're gonna drop it down to... what do you think? 4? We're gonna go 4. We're gonna do 4. Because I like 4. Yeah, that's better. Can you hear me? I'll just get closer. Okay, so you look on here. You see these fuel things burning out real quick? That's fine. You're gonna watch all these gauges after I jettison these two, alright? It's gonna be nice. And it's gonna be pretty. It's a little bit more opulent than my last video, I hope. Just like on the SSTO, you don't want to go too fast coming out. Oh, here we go. There they go. How nice is that? Alright, so those tanks were empty because they were the highest priority. And now look, because the gauges read the maximum capacity, and those were on the priority list, when we ditched them, it took those empty tanks out of the max capacity. So all those tanks filled up again, right? So, like I was saying before, we don't want to go too fast in the densest part of the atmosphere for the same reasons as with an SSTO. It just burns off fuel, you're not going to need it, or burns off fuel, you're not going to need the extra velocity. In most cases, this probably isn't going to be much of an issue getting this guy into space. I've hauled a lot heavier things than this into space without much issue at all. But I am looking forward to getting rid of some of this extra weight again. There they go. That's the next set. See, those were the mid priority. Those ones burned out. And see, now we still have all these tanks all still full, which is great. And then we're going to do that one more time, and then we're going to have, you know, we're already at, you know, what, almost 20,000 meters, and we're going to have, you know, this tank is going to be full. We're picking up our lateral velocity now. This is going to be another good one. I'm going to turn on some lights. Wow, that was way less cool than I thought it was going to be. Sorry about that. I don't know if you got your hopes up, but it wasn't worth it, for sure. Okay, so we're going sideways. We're picking up lateral velocity. Orbital velocity out here, about 2,200 meters per second, but we are going up. Oh, man. This goes to show that I was in a hurry, and I didn't put the Kerbal Engineer chip on there like I was talking about last time, and I don't have that, but I could just go into my map and check and see. Yeah, we're doing great. We're going to turn over a little bit more, actually, because we're doing... Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! Cut that down, cut that down. What happened? Oh, no, no, no. This is all kinds of bad. What happened there? Things went awry. Did something break? I'm going to try and turn on my engines because they have throttle vectoring, so it'll help me turn the ship faster. But wow, this thing is a loose cannon. That thing went end over end with a quickness. Maybe it's just top heavy right now. Oh, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Nope, 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 nope. Oh my, this thing is very unhappy. Maybe if I ditch those, that'll help. Okay. So let's get back on course here. That was a little bit harrowing, but I think we're going to be okay. It looks like we got our stuff back, and it's much quieter, so I don't know why I was still up in the microphone there. But, okay. Alright, I think we're alright. I'm going to turn off the RCS. Keep it going strong. See, we have that full tank again. It's burning that. We're going to be in orbit long before that thing is out. So I am not worried at all. I don't know what that does. Anyway, yeah. So we're not going to have much worry at all. I'm just going to turn this because I'm used to it being sideways like this. Because that's normally how it is whenever you launch. And normally, well, I'd say a good 80% of the time your ships don't rotate when you drop stuff like that. That normally means that there was some sort of wonky balance issue going on. It's not like that doesn't end your launch or anything, but it can kind of screw it up. Alright, so we're almost ready for orbital insertion. I'm going to go ahead and just max this out because I don't want to carry all this extra fuel in board. I have another engine that I most of the time just ditch. This isn't even technically orbital insertion, right? So I'm just going to get it up here. This is the space station. I'm going to pull it up a little bit over the orbit because, well, it'll go down a little, I think. Oh, no, it won't. Okay. So this is going to be standard stuff. Opening up my solar cells here, getting to here, and then adding maneuver. I'm going to do this quick so I won't waste y'all's time. That was kind of a long video, and or the last one was anyway, and there wasn't really a whole lot to it. So I'm going to try and just get this done quick, move on to the next thing, end this video, and then if you guys want, you can stick around for the next video or just skip it and check out some Binding of Isaac stuff, because I'm going to be doing a little bit of that. It really depends on how I do. I mean, I'm not really very good, but sometimes I get a good run going, and if I do, I'm going to record all of them, but if I do, or if I get one that's decent or something, I'll put it up. You guys could check it out. I don't know enough about the Binding of Isaac to be able to give any kind of tutorial on it, so it might just be me just kind of shooting the shit out here, but that's fine, I think. Okay, so like I said, this is our orbital insertion engine. It's way stronger than we need to, way less efficient. So, ooh, isn't that nice? I got a new mod that's supposed to help everything look a little better. So yeah, that looks pretty good. I like it. Okay, time acceleration time. 6-second burn is not a long second burn, or not a long second. It's not a long burn at all. And like I said, if you didn't see the last one, which I don't blame you, if you didn't see the last one or watch it, you can press the Z key and it will automatically take you up to full throttle. So you don't have to worry about timing your, hitting shift to, level up. That changing camera angle means that we are in orbit. Sorry, I hit Z again instead of X because I was talking about it. Anyway, okay, so here we are in orbit, and I don't care about this being in orbit because I mean, I don't know if people call it cheating. I just go back to the space station and end this. You just go to the space station and click on end flight on this debris, and it's just gone. So I don't care about leaving it. So see you later. And then we're going to clear ourselves up. I'm not quite sure what this does. I am not comfortable with that scenario. Please don't tell me that just did what I think it did. Are you gonna... Oh, no, we're good. Okay, we're good. Alright, so there we are. We are launched. We are in space in orbit around Kerbin. And if you want, I'm gonna do another video on docking, just to help out some of the guys who are having a little bit of trouble docking. I'm not too terribly good at docking, but hopefully you guys can learn something and maybe help you guys out a little bit, I guess. All right, so I'll see you next time. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you want to see more, click the subscribe button, share, friend, blah blah blah, all that stuff. Whatever. Have a good one. Later.